It's that time of the month, everybody, where I take the fantastic, incredible artwork from the PopCross community and redraw it on here. The theme that I gave out last month was Dragons and Dragon Slayers. We've got a great selection of artwork. It was so cool seeing all the stuff being shared in the Discord and being emailed to me at popcrossanimations@gmail.com. And there is a big selection. I feel really bad that I can't redraw everyone's stuff, but there was so much stuff sent in. It's so cool to see. Alright, no more delay, let's jump into the first drawing. And the first piece we're going to be redrawing was submitted by Puffy Phoenix on the Discord. It's super cool looking, and I can't wait to take a crack at it. Let's go. Now this dragon by Puffy Phoenix is one of those ones where when I looked at it, I was just immediately like, this is going in the video. I'm super excited to redraw it. It was just super cool looking. I love that it had a bit of bug inspiration and the wings and the extra eyes and the tail wrapping around the tree. It's just so cool looking, a bit bizarre almost, and I absolutely love the way you did the feet, the front feet having claws and the back feet being a bit more like, they almost look like they're a bit more grippy, like they could grab onto things better, and it's just, I love the two different styles of feet on it. Even though it's two different styles of feet, I thought they worked really well together and it's cool looking, and I was blown away by your line art. Your line art on this piece is fantastic. I didn't even notice the fact that you didn't shade it until you pointed it out in your comment that you hadn't shaded it, and it's just, I definitely don't think it needed it. I think it's super cool looking. The stuff that I personally add to it from your original design is I just add more details and textures. Like I looked at some reference images of beetles just to get some ideas for textures for the, I guess skin is the wrong word because I try to make it a little bit beetle shell-like. I don't really do too much with that. I just kind of kept that in mind while I was drawing it. I add some line details around it. Also, I love the wings. Later on, I end up adding some kind of glowy, streaky textures to it because that's kind of like the bug wings are very different from dragon wings, so this one is a nice change of pace from drawing normal dragon wings, and just the double spread of the wings is super cool, changes up the pose and composition a little bit, and just overall I just love this whole piece. I think it's super cool. It also forced me to make a dragon with kind of chunkier body and smaller head, and that's not the way I usually lean when I'm drawing dragons from my own imagination, so it was a really nice change from how I usually do things. And overall, I just think this whole dragon is super cool looking. I'm happy with how my version turned out, and I think your original is super awesome too. So let's wrap this up and take a final look at my drawing of Puffy Phoenix's dragon. Alright, that was an awesome one to start off with. Thank you so much for the submission, Puffy Phoenix. And now let's do another dragon, then we'll do a Dragon Slayer, switch things up a bit. But this is a dragon that was submitted a long time ago, and I've been super excited to redraw for a while. Submitted by Artoftroy. It's this dragon right here. Really excited to take a crack at this, so let's jump in. This submission by Artoftroy was one that I genuinely have had my eye on since it was submitted. I think they sent it in right near the beginning of the submission stage, and I just have always thought it was super cool looking, and I'm super excited to finally be drawing it. It, proportion-wise, kind of looks like the kind of dragon I would inherently draw. Like, the face shape is cool. I guess I normally would make the wings a bit bigger, but I try to keep it proportionally pretty similar to what Artoftroy has. And I just think it's awesome. I love the sort of nature incorporation of it, the sort of branches coming off of it, and the wings have a bit of a branchy kind of feel to it, holding it all together, and I really leaned into that. This is one of the few pieces of art that I put a platform on, because I wanted to add in those sort of, Artoftroy in the original has like branches or vines kind of coming out of the dragon's feet. And I don't know if in Artoftroy's image they're going into the ground, but I kind of like the idea that this dragon could have branches and vines go into the ground and it could draw energy from the earth or something like that. Like it's very in tune with nature, like maybe it's the protector of some forest or something, Princess Mononoke style. and I love it. It's super awesome. I also love drawing a dragon that had some fur to it. For reference images, I kind of glanced at some pictures of deer, because that's sort of what this reminded me of, and I liked having a dragon with hooves, and the tail having some leaves coming off it. Just everything about this dragon was super cool to me, and redrawing it was a lot of fun. I also really like the pose for this one. I tend to like drawing dragons in flight, but drawing it standing down and looking up, and we're kind of looking up at it from below a little bit, making it feel pretty powerful. I really like how this one turned out. So let's take our final look at my version of Art of Troy's dragon. Just cutting this in after the fact. Special shout out to Art of Troy's YouTube channel. He's got an art YouTube channel. Go check it out. Okay, back to the video. All right. That was an awesome submission. Thank you so much, Art of Troy. And I really feel like I'm on a bit of a roll. I'm excited to do another. But as I said, the next one's gonna be a Dragon Slayer. And this one was submitted by the Lego Addict on the Discord. Come on. Having a hard time getting an angle that reads. You'll see the image later. There's an awesome submission of a Dragon Slayer and a dragon, a Krampus dragon to be specific. I'm gonna draw the Dragon Slayer. That is a sort of Santa Claus Dragon Slayer. Let's get into it. Now, I really wanted to do the Lego Addict's Krampus dragon as well, because I thought it was super cool looking too, but I just wanted to do the one character per person, so I just stuck with the Santa Claus Dragon Slayer, because I thought it was super cool looking. It also reminded me a little bit of the Mrs. Claus that I drew from a few months ago, with the two swords fending off those ice creatures. That was cool, and this kind of reminded me of that. But the thing that really sold me on drawing this one was the little gingerbread man that Santa Claus has fighting alongside him. You see down, there's like this little gingerbread man fighting another little dragon while Santa Claus is fighting the Krampus dragon. And I just love that idea of having this cool Santa Slayer kind of guy. Ooh, Santa Slayer. Well, I guess that's not really it, because he's not slaying Santa Clauses. He is Santa Claus, who is a dragon slayer. You know what I mean. I like the idea of having this Santa Claus character fighting alongside a little gingerbread man that has like a little sort of candy cane that's been sharpened into a spike that it's fighting with like it's a kind of sword. And then this whole drawing I just thought was really cool looking. I also like the colors. I love a bit of red and gray, has a bit of green in there, and I accent that a little bit more. I think I put a little bit more, or actually maybe I put a bit less green. Either way, I love the combination of having a bit of green, then the rest of it being mostly gray and red. It's just, love the color combos in here. I tried to make the pose kind of similar to the pose that you have, except the body is a little bit more twisted. I also have the shirt coming open a little bit, and you can see Santa Claus's like hairy pecs kind of thing. I don't know why. I was thinking, as I was drawing this, I just felt like it kind of had a bit of an 80s action hero kind of vibe. So I just like leaned into that, had the shirt being pulled back and open, got a nice big like roaring face on Santa Claus. One of the swords is held back, ready for a swing. And everything just came together really nicely, and I think this is an awesome third drawing. Thank you so much for the submission, and let's take our final look at the Santa Claus Dragon Slayer. All right, more awesome stuff. Okay, now we're going back to dragons, to a submission on the Discord from EvasionKaki. I might be saying that wrong, I apologize if I am, but here is the dragon that we're gonna be doing next. Super cool looking, I'm excited, let's get into it. Now this gorgeous, creepy looking dragon by EvasionKaki I picked because I just loved how kinda shiny and slimy it looked, and also because I don't recall if I've ever actually seen a Cyclops dragon before. I feel like I might have at some point, but I couldn't picture any other one, so I thought it was nice and unique, and there's definitely no other ones that have been submitted. I don't think. I'm like 99% sure nobody else submitted a Cyclops dragon, so this was super cool. I also liked how weird the thing at the end of its tail is. Like, it kind of looked to me like 3 deflated balloons, and this whole dragon seemed like bizarre and cool and creepy, and so and I love the colors of it. It's like a nice bright vibrant green, so I just really leaned into the like sort of slimy texture for the character, like those scaly bits look a bit like they're oozing almost, and I love that. And so when I got to the rendering stage for this one, I didn't do the rendering with the rough brush that I usually do things like dragons with. I just used the regular ink brush because I wanted this to feel like slimy textured, and a slimy texture wouldn't be as grainy as that brush that I've been using looks. It would be more like just slick and smooth. So then when I get to like the lighting stage, I do a lot of dots of glow and light just because it make it look like watery and slimy and like it's covered in a bit of a, almost like a mucus sort of texture. And I love picturing this dragon and just not wanting to touch it at all, and just, it's also one of the few dragons that was submitted that's the sort of Chinese dragon style, like a kind of really long body with short wings, and I wanted to make sure I got one of those in there because those are really fun to draw and a nice change from the other kinds of dragons I've been drawing. And overall, I just loved that this was such a nice, different, fun, kind of creepy, weird looking dragon, and I really like how my version of it turned out too. So let's take our final look at my drawing of EvasionKaki's dragon. Oh, I really like how that one turned out. Thank you very much for the submission, EvasionKaki. Now, for this last drawing, and I say last drawing, we're doing two more, but we're doing two more characters in one, because thinking of dragons and dragon slayers, my original plan had been to have, obviously, a dragon and dragon slayer fighting each other, but you know what? Let's have a bit of unity here. I really enjoyed doing that fan art for Unlisted Leaf last week where I did him with his favorite Pokemon, and I kind of want to do something like that, of a dragon with a dragon slayer, like they're on the same team, maybe they were enemies before and now they've teamed up. So I'm gonna take a dragon slayer for one person, a dragon from another, and do a team up image of the two. So the characters that we're going with are a dragon slayer from MrMongoCap, or alternatively called @_Janimation_, and their awesome looking dragon slayer is right here. Super cool looking, excited to take a crack at it, and we are going to be teaming them up with a submission from the Wizard King on the Discord, and it's one of my favorite ideas for a submission and a creature. It is this dragon that's designed like a dragon fruit. I love that idea. Good job. Let's do a team up image of those two characters to wrap this all up. One of the reasons I like the idea of this pairing of Janimation's character and the Wizard King's character is because they felt tonally very different. Like one, the dragon fruit dragon felt a little bit more cartoony and lighthearted, and then Janimation's character felt like a very grizzled God of War mixed with sort of the Hulk from Ragnarok style character, like just a grizzled warrior with lots of scars, and I kind of tone-wise leaned into that a little bit more. I ended up turning the dragon fruit dragon into a much more menacing, scary dragon that in my head I was kind of picturing it like this dragon fruit dragon kind of gave the scars to Janimation's character, but like they've fought before and they were enemies, but now they've teamed up to work together, and I just kind of liked that headcanon, thought it was fun, but I definitely didn't lean so much into the cartooniness for the dragon fruit character, but I think it ends up working. Even if you have never seen a dragon fruit before and don't think of it in that way, looking at this dragon, it just kind of works. The spikes that dragon fruit has really can look kind of menacing, and even though it is a bright, kind of fun, vibrant set of colors, it still does come across, because of the shape and the pose it's in, as a decently menacing character. And again, like with that drawing I did last week, the fan art for Unlisted Leaf, I really liked having the tail wrapping around the human character. Thought that was super cool, and overall the pose for this one I just really like. You look across it and it just works. I could see this one being a bit flat because they're both kind of facing just straight to the left. I tend to like having things coming at the camera a little bit more, but I just think this one really works. Both of them looking in the same direction. Their heads are offset a bit, like because the Janimation's character is in the middle of the scene and the head of the dragon fruit dragon is at the end. It just kind of guides your eye from left to right in a nice way. Everything about this piece I like, except for maybe, I think I made Janimation's character's head a little bit too big.
because he's supposed to be like a bit older, kind of grizzled. He should have a smaller head, but that was kind of a factor of I was drawing 2 characters, so I gave a little bit less attention to some of the smaller details of each of them in an effort to make the whole piece work better. But in the end, I do really like how this looks. I think it's a cool team up and a great way to finish off this video. So let's take a final look at our team up drawing of a Dragon Slayer from Dynamism and a Dragon Fruit Dragon from the Wizard King.
Alright, thank you both so much for your submissions. That was super cool, a great one to end on. And thank you again to everybody who submitted, whether you were in this episode or not. All your artwork was super cool. It was really hard to pick who's to draw. And even if you didn't end up in this episode, maybe you'll get in the next one or the next one. We've got community redraw episodes every month. And I'm sure you're all excited to hear what the theme of the next one's going to be. And so here it is, right here, because around the time that episode will come out, the new Godzilla movie will be coming out. The next theme is going to be creatures that could beat up Godzilla. So basically, I want you to design or send in a creature that you've designed, an original character that you figure could beat up Godzilla. Along with it, you can send the name of the character and no more than 3 sentences about why you think your character could beat up Godzilla. I'm super excited to see what you all come up with, and that'll be coming out like the last week of May or something like that, around then. Anyway, thanks again so much, everybody. I'm Christian Pearson of PopCross Studios, and I will see you all in a few days. Goodbye.